On the day of the engagement, my fiancée left me for her best male friend. This wasn't the first time, but for me, it was the last. That day, while chasing after her, I got into a car accident. I no longer remembered her. John, you're awake. You scared your mother to death. I gasped awake. My whole body ached. My parents, who were beside me, asked how I was feeling. They also called for a doctor. In the end, the doctor said there was nothing seriously wrong with my body, but there was some minor damage to my head, which might cause some memory loss. My parents, upon hearing this, hurried to my side and asked if I remembered them. Of course I did. It was just that later, the person they said caused me to be like this. Emily, I couldn't remember who she was, but I didn't ask. Perhaps she wasn't someone important. If she wasn't important, it was okay to forget. But later, two more people came. They were Emily's parents. John, we're so sorry. We'll definitely give Emily a good talking to when we get back. I was dumbfounded. Emily again. It's our fault for spoiling her, daring to run away from an engagement? My parents, seeing that I wasn't speaking, ushered Mr. and Mrs. Davis out. Mom, Dad, who is this Emily you keep talking about? I finally voiced my confusion, but I clearly saw my mom's hand pause as she closed the door. In the end, she just looked at me with red eyes and said, "It's all in the past." Yes, it's all in the past. Since I could forget, she couldn't have been someone important. The next day, Mr. and Mrs. Davis came again. This time, they brought Emily, who they said had hurt me, to apologize to me. She looked completely unwilling and seemed to have been forced to come. And at some point, we were left alone in the room. I was lying in bed, wrapped up like a mummy. Emily just glanced at me, her face cold. She scoffed. "John, are you playing the victim again? Just to get me back? You staged a car accident. Can you stop being so childish?" Her face and the words coming out of her mouth were like night and day. Before I could speak, she continued sarcastically. "Even if you want to imitate, there should be a limit. Ethan actually got into a car accident and hurt his head. He's still in the ICU. Much more serious than your superficial injuries." Superficial injuries? More than 100 superficial injuries combined. I couldn't help but roll my eyes in my mind. Emily glared at me again, her eyes full of resentment. "Ethan is in a deep coma now. He needs care more than you." In just a few sentences, she mentioned Ethan's name several times. When Ethan was mentioned, she looked nervous. But when she saw me, her fiancé, her face was full of disgust and hatred. So they must be truly in love. I should let them be together. So I said calmly, "You can go." She seemed not to have heard clearly. I repeated it again. I also explained, "My parents are here, and they've hired a caregiver for me. I don't need you to take care of me, especially a stranger." How awkward. She looked me up and down. "Did you say that yourself?" I nodded. The moment I saw her leave, I felt a sense of relief. Finally, some peace. But before I could enjoy the silence for 2 seconds, she came back. She looked at me with a complicated expression. "You don't remember me? Should I remember you?" I asked calmly, like a clear pond without a ripple. A fiancée who only talked about someone else and constantly put down her fiancé. What was there to remember? Her expression visibly darkened. Then she quickly came to my side. "What are you pretending now? A new trick to attract me? Playing hard to get?" As she spoke, her hand reached out to touch my arm. I couldn't help but frown, suppressing the nausea rising in my stomach. I said unhappily, "Don't touch me." "Don't touch you?" "John, what do you mean? You used to come up to me and rub against me. Now I just touch your arm, and you're making a fuss. What are you pretending?" I really hated her touch. I even felt like throwing up when she got close to me. I suppressed my discomfort and urged, "Go take care of that, Ethan." When she heard this, she suddenly smiled. "John, you're jealous, aren't you? I knew you couldn't have forgotten me. I know you're angry that I ran away from the engagement for Ethan. You lost face. But Ethan only has me as a friend in the city. His parents aren't here. He called me saying he got into a car accident on the way. How could I ignore him? And the situation was very serious. He was covered in blood. I sneered, finding it utterly ridiculous. He was so badly injured that he could still personally call her to tell her about the accident? What kind of logic is that? He didn't call the hospital, but he called her. She's more capable than the doctors. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, she thought I was moved. So she continued, "John, dear honey, you've always been generous. You wouldn't mind what happened, right? We can redo the engagement. I'll make it even bigger and better than before, okay?" Her coaxing tone made me extremely uncomfortable. And she said, redo? No need. I don't know how we got together before, but now I'm very clear-headed. I directly refused. No need. Anyway, my parents said that she ran away halfway through. Good. That saves us the step of calling off the engagement. Emily was taken aback. What do you mean? I looked at her, frowning, and explained seriously. I mean, there's no need for us to be together, let alone continue the engagement. And I really don't know you. Emily's expression changed completely. Her face turned very ugly. Her eyes showed sadness. John, when we first got together, you said you didn't mind that I had a male best friend. But now you're jealous and using breaking up to threaten me. When I heard the first sentence, I wanted to interrupt her. Male best friend? More like a backup? How could I have agreed to be with her before? I must have been out of my mind. John, you should rest first. When you're better and have calmed down, I'll come back to see you. As for Ethan, he's my best friend, my friend. I can't ignore him. Without waiting for my opinion, she left. Then I heard shouting from the doorway. Mr. and Mrs. Davis were scolding her. Unnecessary. It's so awkward to be with someone you're not familiar with. And she's eager to go take care of her male best friend. Thinking about this, I laughed out loud. I must have been such a fool before. Living a three-person life. What nonsense. My mom brought me food and was about to feed me. I can eat by myself. After I took the bowl, I heard my mom sigh. You know, Emily used to be such a good girl. Pretty, good with words, and knew how to take care of people. There was a time when you broke your leg playing basketball. Emily changed your bandages and got things for you. We had hired a private doctor and caregiver for you. But she insisted on doing everything herself. It was exhausting for her. You're a big guy, and she's just a small girl. Naturally, it was hard for her. I looked disbelieving. My mom adjusted my blanket and continued. But now, she's arguing with her parents to go take care of her friend, that Ethan. She's really upset, Mr. and Mrs. Davis. I scoffed. They're truly in love. I was probably the one ruining their relationship. My mom glared at me after hearing my teasing and sighed again. Emily, she's just been too protected by Mr. and Mrs. Davis. She is naive. That guy's not a good person. Have you met him? I saw them together before, but I didn't think much of it at the time. I simply responded. Seeing my lack of reaction, my mom asked, Are you really not bothered? What's there for me to be bothered about? I don't even remember her. She's just a stranger to me now. And she's really rude. Thinking about her arrogant behavior just now, I couldn't help but frown. Okay, if you don't remember, you don't remember. Your health is the most important. After that, they went to eat. I was alone in the ward, recuperating. Silence can be a blessing. A week later, I could get out of bed and move around. I planned to go for a walk outside. But just as I reached the stairs, I ran into Emily. She was carefully supporting a guy. It was Ethan. Although I didn't remember Emily or what happened with her, I knew Ethan. He came from out of town to attend university. His family background was nothing compared to ours, even somewhat shabby. But he claimed to be a rich second generation. Whatever, it didn't concern me. They were both stunned to see me. I had no expression. They were just two strangers to me. As I passed by them, Emily suddenly grabbed my arm. She asked accusingly, Why aren't you greeting me? I scoffed. I don't know you. Why should I greet you? Truly baffling and unreasonable. Indeed, she was spoiled. Emily was momentarily speechless, but she quickly recovered. She said angrily, John, that's enough. Don't cry later. Cry? Did I cry for her before? Was I an idiot? To cry for such a fickle woman? I was starting to despise my former self more and more. I glanced at her and continued walking. But just then, Ethan called out to me, John, it's all my fault. I was blind and didn't see the car. I had an accident during your engagement. It's all me. I'm sorry. Back then, Emily was my only friend. I could only ask her for help. I'm sorry. You can hit me, scold me, whatever you want to vent your anger. It's not Emily's fault. His voice trembled, and if you listen closely, there was a hint of grievance. Or rather, it could be described as an accusation. Such a clumsy act. Only that foolish woman treasured him. They should be locked up together, and not harm others. Before I could speak, Emily glared at me and said, John, Ethan is my friend. You have no right to blame him. Then she immediately turned to Ethan. She asked considerately if he felt dizzy. He shook his head but kept his gaze on me. His eyes were full of provocation, even smugness. Emily was a stranger to me. Her words were like farts to me, meaningless except for the stench. But I didn't avoid his gaze. I met it directly. I said calmly, "I'm not your friend, so of course, I have no right to blame you. Relax, you two are a good match. I'll bless you. I wish you a lifetime of happiness together." Ethan was stunned, then turned to a look of secret joy. But Emily was full of anger. Even her expression twisted. Shouldn't she be happy? Why was she angry? She was just defending Ethan, and now I was blessing them. Wasn't that perfect? But before Emily could speak, Ethan said in a wrong tone, "John, I know I was wrong. Calm down, don't say things out of anger, okay?" Emily, upon hearing this, seemed to have a sudden realization. "John, why are you being so petty? Do you know that Ethan just got out of danger? He can't be agitated. Even if you're angry, you should consider the time and place, okay?" Ethan even cooperated by acting dizzy. Emily's attention was immediately on him. As she left, she told me to get out of the way. How ironic. But she could rest assured after this, I would never block her way again. When I was discharged, my parents asked if I wanted to notify Emily and her family. I refused. But when I got home, I told Mr. and Mrs. Davis that I was discharged. They kept apologizing to me. Later, they even came to my house. "John, these are some supplements Mr. Davis brought for you." Mrs. Davis also told me to take care of my health. However, I wasn't stupid. I knew why they came. Our family had a wide network and many assets in the city. Over the years, I remembered giving Mr. Davis many projects. And because of our family, many prominent figures were willing to cooperate with the Davis family. Their status had risen rapidly over the years. They were afraid that our family would resent them because of this. I reassured them, "Mr. and Mrs. Davis, don't worry. I don't mix personal and professional matters. My dad has seen the Davis family's capabilities over the years." As a junior, I naturally couldn't say that I had seen it. They were relieved to hear my words. Their faces showed more joy. Later, they told me that Emily had been reflecting on her actions during this time. They asked me to give her another chance. I didn't think she was reflecting. I saw Ethan's post on my phone. He posted a few pictures of Emily cooking and eating at his place. The caption read, "Thankful for her love. The food was lavish. She, a pampered young lady, cooked for him herself." I could feel the love through the screen. Mr. Davis, I don't remember her anymore, nor do I remember our past. Let bygones be bygones. After all, I had a new life now. Mr. Davis sighed and said that Emily wasn't good enough for me. I just smiled and didn't say anything. I thought I could finally have a good night's sleep. But unexpectedly, Emily called me in the middle of the night. She said sternly, "John, what did you say to my parents? Did you think I didn't see you off at the hospital? Ethan's condition requires constant care. I'm busy taking care of him every day. Can't you be more understanding and considerate of me? Call my parents now and tell them that you were just speaking out of anger. Otherwise, in the future..." Before she could finish, I hung up. So verbose and annoying. Understand that she's taking care of another man? Although I didn't remember her, from an outsider's perspective, wasn't she just a typical two-timer? Then she called me again. I directly blocked her. She then sent me a message, unwilling to give up. It read, "John, what are you making a fuss about? If you continue like this, I'll have to seriously reconsider our relationship." I replied, "No need to consider. We are just strangers." Then I deleted all information about her. But she directly called me from an unknown number. I changed my phone and number. My world was finally peaceful. But staying at home all the time was boring. I planned to go out and get some exercise. The doctor said it was okay for me to exercise moderately to recover my physical strength. But unfortunately, it started to rain heavily outside. I opened my phone to play games. I saw my long-lost buddy, Alex, online. I invited him to play. He directly turned on the mic and asked, "Broke up? How did you know? If you hadn't broken up, you wouldn't be looking for me." Alex told me that Emily looked down on them before. She thought they were idle and unambitious. She was afraid they would influence me. So, she forbade me from hanging out with them. I hadn't contacted my good buddies for years because of her. Hearing this, I was really shocked. Was I drugged before? That's terrible. Alex and the others grew up with me. I knew their character. What did she mean by unambitious? My buddies were into esports and streaming. They made a lot of money. Their company's annual income was at least 8 figures. Alex, seeing that I wasn't speaking, thought I was upset about the breakup, so he comforted me. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Buddy, Emily isn't good enough for you. If she wants to be with that Ethan, let her. He's just a gold digger anyway. I cleared my throat and explained that I didn't remember Emily anymore. So, I didn't feel sad or regretful. He was silent for a while, then burst into laughter. That's great. That's great. After playing a couple of games with him, I had him add my new number. A few days later, he messaged me, asking if I was interested in a project. It was about game development. Alex was very talented in this area. He was not only an investor, but also a software developer. And he had superb skills in software. I was a traditional person. I usually managed my family's business. I rarely invested in new things. But this time I was suddenly interested. I agreed. Alex came to pick me up. He whistled at me and said, "Let's go. You'll find a surprise there." I looked at him suspiciously, as long as it wasn't a shock. When we arrived, a woman with long, wavy hair and a black dress came towards us. I felt she looked familiar. I looked at her more closely. Before I could react, Alex patted my shoulder. "Don't you recognize her? She's our university's campus belle. Olivia, she and Emily were the two beauties of our school. You can't have forgotten, right?" I hadn't forgotten. Back then, we were opponents in a debate competition. She was a very disciplined and serious girl, and she had a great figure and was beautiful. More importantly, she had both high EQ and IQ. She was pursued by many guys at the time. To me, she was a lotus flower that grew out of mud but remained unstained, untouchable. But later I heard she went abroad for further studies. When she left, many guys were heartbroken. I didn't expect to see her here today. Even more unexpected was that she was another investor in this game. "John, long time no see. Alex said it was you." I didn't believe it at first. I didn't expect it to be true. I smiled and shook her hand. The meeting place for today's discussion was a quiet coffee shop. The location suited Alex's personality. At first, we didn't talk about work, just about things from our university days. Midway, I went to the restroom. But unexpectedly, when I came out, I ran into Emily. "Why are you here?" She first asked in confusion, then with some surprise. Finally, she regained her cold demeanor. "What? You blocked my number, and now you're deliberately following me?" I knew you still had feelings for me. I sneered. How could this person be so full of herself? Then, before I could speak, I saw Ethan, who had bought coffee, coming over. He was stunned when he saw me. There was even some panic in his eyes. Then he quickly walked to Emily's side, as if to assert his dominance. But he had a wronged, scheming look. "John, are you still angry?" "Today, I begged Emily to come out. The doctor said I'm better now and can go out for a walk. I just didn't expect. I didn't want to listen anymore. Why were two strangers acting in front of me?" I directly told him to shut up. Then I looked at Emily, but she wasn't angry. Instead, she smiled because I scolded Ethan. It seemed she was really confident in herself. She thought I was jealous. Unfortunately, I just thought he was too talkative for a man, like a sissy. Then I said to Emily, "Stop being so narcissistic. It's really off-putting. I'm here today to discuss business, not like you, who has nothing better to do than wander around." Following her? Was she watching too many romance dramas? As I spoke, I glanced at Olivia. She was getting more and more beautiful, more and more mature and elegant. Emily followed my gaze. Then she clenched her fists and said sarcastically, "Don't tell me you're discussing business with Olivia. You have nothing to do with Olivia. At least find a better excuse." Then her tone softened a bit. "John, stop messing around, okay? I know you're just saying things out of anger." Saying things out of anger? She was really confident. I directly said coldly, "I'm not messing around with you, nor am I saying things out of anger. Emily, I'm not familiar with you, so stop pestering me." Just then, Alex came over. He was even less polite to Emily. "I told you John doesn't know you. Why are you being so shameless? You're supposed to be a lady." Then he glanced at Ethan. She was already teary-eyed after I spoke. Now, her eyes were misty, looking wronged. "John, I've already apologized to you," in a low voice. "Why are you still treating me like this, humiliating me? I also said I'd redo the engagement for you. Why can't you just move on?" Then she started crying. Ethan, seeing this, quickly said, "Don't bully Emily. She's just a girl. If you have any complaints, come to me." "Enough." I frowned and scolded. "Who are you trying to disgust here?" I'll say it one last time. I don't know you. Do whatever you want, but stop King pestering me. Emily's defenses completely crumbled. Okay, John. I hope you remember these words and don't come looking for me in the future. Let's go, Ethan. Then she dragged Ethan away. After they left, I realized that Olivia had been watching the whole drama. I was a bit embarrassed. She didn't say anything. She just smiled and started discussing work. But Alex steered the topic back to the debate competition from our university days. Originally, Olivia and I were supposed to be on the same team, but in the end, we were assigned as opponents. Alex, as he talked about this, took a big gulp of his coffee and teased. Back then, you two were really fierce. Even the principal came to watch your debate. It wasn't that exaggerated. It's because the opponent was strong, so we both grew, right? I glanced at Olivia and smiled. You were the strong opponent. There was no flattery in my words. Initially, I didn't take it too seriously, but unexpectedly, in the first round, this girl debated me into a stupor. After that, of course, I started to take it seriously. I looked for various arguments, supporting points, and her weaknesses. If it weren't for the time limit, Olivia and I could have debated for 3 days and 3 nights. That was the time when my view of her was completely refreshed. Olivia spread her hands slightly, a smile on her face. It felt a bit charming. Later, Alex had to leave. Only Olivia and I were left. She said to me, I heard from your roommate that you put a lot of effort into that debate. I smiled awkwardly. Those friends who valued beauty over loyalty. I lost the first round and felt embarrassed. So I worked hard to regain my face. I repeatedly told my roommates not to tell anyone. In the end, they still betrayed me. But in the later debates, you really performed as I expected. You had a kind of youthful spirit. I liked it. Actually, you inspired me. You ignited my fighting spirit. She chuckled. You know, back then, I asked the teacher to make me your opponent. I looked a bit puzzled, because if I were with you, I wouldn't be able to perform to my full potential. I'd be nervous. I was stunned. Then, before I could react, Emily suddenly ran over. She picked up the cup of coffee on the table and splashed it on Olivia's face. What are you doing? I pushed her away and grabbed some tissues to wipe Olivia's face. Are you okay? She shook her head, but was clearly frightened. I glared at Emily. Do you know this coffee is hot? Splashing it on someone's face could cause disfigurement. Fortunately, the coffee had cooled down to a lukewarm temperature. Emily seemed not to hear me. She just grabbed my arm, her face full of tears. I was wrong, John. Stop being angry. Come back to me, okay? I won't make the same mistake again and leave you. I was really wrong. Then, she tried to hug me. I coldly pushed her away and said indifferently, You should apologize to Olivia. After hearing my words, Emily not only didn't apologize but started a series of insults. How can you be the third party in someone else's relationship? Do you know he's my fiancé? We're already engaged. How can you be so shameless? Before I could speak, Olivia had already composed herself and calmly retorted, But as far as I know, Miss Davis, you ran away from the engagement. The engagement didn't proceed. In that case, I have the right to pursue John. You can't pursue him. You have no right. Emily screamed, like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, instantly turning into a hissing, furious feline. She even tried to hit Olivia. I pushed her away again, my expression full of disgust. Emily, you're really crazy. I told you I don't know you. You keep pestering and harassing me. Do you believe that I can call the police to arrest you right now? She quieted down after hearing my words. Her eyes were full of disbelief. It was as if she had just realized that I said I didn't know her. She stumbled backward and even fell to the ground. In the end, Ethan, who had rushed over, took her away. Because of today's events, I kept apologizing to Olivia. I also had someone buy a new set of clothes for her. I knew she had a work meeting in the evening. Although she said it was okay, I still felt bad, so I offered to be her driver in the evening. She smiled. Okay. I dropped her off at her workplace. As she was leaving, she looked at me. Remember to pick me up tonight, okay? Don't forget. Pick her up? A strange feeling welled up in my heart. I swallowed and nodded. After that, I wandered around nearby. When it was almost time, I went to pick her up. As soon as she got in the car, she leaned towards me. Her faint fragrance wafted towards me. She blinked at me and asked, Mr. John, today I told you that I get nervous around you. Aren't you curious why? Hearing her words, I asked why. Because I like you. I was instantly stunned, and my mind felt like it was lacking oxygen. I was dizzy. I've actually always liked you. Even when I was abroad, I kept track of what you were doing. Actually, I came back mainly because I heard you were in a car accident. I was very worried. So, Mr. John, can you give me a chance to pursue you? She looked at me sincerely, her clear eyes seemingly only seeing me. I suddenly thought, why not give it a try? Then I nodded. She kissed me on the lips. Afterward, she told me she was too excited and couldn't control herself. The strange feeling in my heart seemed to grow. After that, I got to eat Olivia's homemade lunch every day. And every day, she gave me different surprises. On weekends, we would go on dates, watch movies, and go shopping like any other couple. We enjoyed our unique romance. And these were things I seemed to have never experienced before. Olivia's love for me was always overt. She didn't care about others' gazes. Her eyes were only for me. She was so gentle, so kind. I thought no man could resist such a woman, especially a partner whose heart and eyes were only for you. Soon, we made our relationship official. And such a beautiful and sincere person deserved to be loved, and even more, deserved my love. We later met each other's parents. Both families got along very well. My mom especially liked her. She even gave Olivia the family heirloom jade bracelet. Olivia, don't feel burdened by this bracelet. If John doesn't treat you well, it's okay. Speak up, scold him, break up if necessary. Mom, is that how you bless your son and daughter-in-law? I complained. I had just gotten my hands on my wife, still fresh. Pfft, I misspoke. Olivia didn't mind at all. Instead, she laughed heartily. Later, I went shopping with her, but we were blocked by Emily. You're really together? Her eyes were full of resentment. Olivia, you shameless homewrecker. Then, she tried to hit Olivia again. I shielded Olivia behind me, blocking Emily's hand, and sternly rebuked. What homewrecker? This is my girlfriend, you lunatic. What did you say? You called me a lunatic? Emily tearfully accused. You used to call me baby, John. Have you really forgotten? How could you forget? Forget all the moments we spent together. And how could you just casually find a woman to be your girlfriend? I scoffed. To me, you're just a stranger. Why would a stranger take up space in my brain? And Olivia isn't just any woman you mentioned. She's a person I love. I held Olivia tightly as I spoke. Don't harass me again in the future. Otherwise, I really won't care about Mr. Davis's face and will call the police. Emily's face turned extremely ugly when she saw how intimate Olivia and I were. She clenched her fists tightly, her knuckles turning white. Her voice trembled, and she said resentfully, Don't regret it, John. You better not regret it. How could I regret it? 2 months from now, Olivia and I are getting married. If you don't mind, you can come to the wedding. After hearing this, her body swayed uncontrollably. Finally, she gritted her teeth and replied, Congratulations, but I'm also getting married soon. To Ethan. Then I congratulate you too. When she heard my words, she finally couldn't bear it anymore and fled in embarrassment. The wedding proceeded as planned. She walked towards me in her white wedding dress. My heart was beating like a drum. I was even nervous. Finally, after saying, I do, and exchanging rings, we hugged tightly. I finally had a home, and I married a kind and intelligent wife. And in the future, we would have a baby. After the wedding, we went abroad, partly for a vacation, partly because Alex's work project needed to be executed abroad. We spent 2 years there, and my wife got pregnant. This is great news. Olivia and I decided to return to the country to have the baby. But at the airport on our way back, I thought I saw Emily. She was wearing a mask, but her anxiety was hard to hide. I remembered later, Alex told me that on the day of my wedding, she also married Ethan. But I didn't ask about it. After all, she was just a stranger. No need to waste energy on unnecessary things. When I got home and turned on my phone, I saw the trending news. Hashtag Davis Group heiress, S company forced to pay $350 million hashtag. Later, I ran into Mr. Davis, who looked 10 years older. He also looked much more down and out than before. It was then that I learned the whole story. Back then, Emily insisted on marrying Ethan. She was the only child of the Davis family, so they had no choice but to agree. After all, Ethan said his family was also considered wealthy. After the marriage, Ethan somehow persuaded Emily to invest in a gaming company. Mr. Davis disagreed, But Ethan told Emily that I was also working on a game project. She was immediately triggered. In the end, they lost everything and were forced to repay the money. And all of this was put on Emily's head. Even more terrifying, Ethan had recorded and edited the recordings. They were all about negative information about Emily. The internet exploded instantly. Ethan got off scot-free and even profited from it. Emily and her parents were the ones who suffered. I didn't comment on this. Back then, anyone could tell that Ethan was a scheming person. He clung to Emily only for her assets. Now, Emily was paying the price for her poor judgment. But a few days later, the Davis family was trending again. This time, it was because Emily had stabbed Ethan to death, and then she committed suicide. I didn't feel much after hearing this. I just turned around and brought the washed grapes to Olivia. Then I fed her one by one. She hugged my arm and smiled foolishly. "Honey, you're so good." I held her in my arms, my chin resting on her neck. I took a deep breath. "You're the one who's really good." I was so lucky to have married Olivia. Now I was really content. I kissed her forehead and said, "Thank you for giving me a home." Her arms wrapped around my neck. She nibbled on my cheek and said, "Thank you too." Isn't that what love is about? A two-way street. That's what makes it meaningful.